Okay, so I haven't seen this clip yet, but what I will say is I know a lot about two things. I know a lot about The Witcher, and I'm a fucking nerd when it comes to like medieval civilizations, like sword fighting, things like that. So I got really upset when I saw a 5 second clip, which I have not seen the whole context of. We're about to watch it here. It's about a minute and 12 seconds long, from the Daily Wire, where this guy, I think his name is like Andrew something. What's his fucking name? Hold on. No, I don't know his name. Never mind. This fucking crotchety old bastard basically makes the claim in this video that Andrew Clevin, yeah, it's his name. He basically makes the claim in this little clip here that the Witcher show turned him off because there's so many female characters, particularly Queen Calanthe, that fight with swords. Now this is very stupid. I mean, like, this is coming from the. I guess this guy wouldn't be one of those people, but the people who are also making these claims are the same people who made the argument that black people shouldn't be on the cover of Battlefield 1 because mostly white people fought in World War 1, and it doesn't make sense story-wise. And yet, not only this guy, but people who are defending him are saying, actually, no, there shouldn't be women using swords in The Witcher, even if it's explained story-wise, because it takes me out of the immersion because women can't fight with swords. It's so fucking stupid. But we're gonna see what we can do here. Women's are too weak to use big sharp swords. Yeah. Okay, let's watch this. Let's see how wrong he is.
So the lady who made the show, the showrunner, Lauren Schmidt Hisrich, announced she was going to pay attention to the women. And immediately I was put off by the fact that there's a queen in this who fights like a man. And there's a couple of scenes where women fight with swords. And I just hate these scenes because no woman can fight with a sword. Zero women can fight with a sword.
That, holy shit. Talk about digging your grave. By making such digging your own grave by making such a fucking massive like generalization. Holy shit. Okay, so this isn't true in any in any shape, way, or form. This is untrue. There are entire fighting styles. Yeah, Joan of Arc existed, probably the first example you could think of. So for starters, there are entire fighting styles that are optimized for women. The thing about sword fighting, just to start it off, the thing about sword fighting is generally you're going in for stabs and whatnot. It doesn't require a shit ton of like natural strength to sword fight. Generally, when you're fighting with the sword, you go in for stabs. That's why fencing is so popular. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you can literally disprove this by just Googling female fencing champions. No woman can fight with a sword? Are you fucking kidding me? I guarantee, as a matter of fact, I guarantee right now, the average woman, if you gave the average woman a sword and then gave this dude a sword and made them 1v1, guarantee the woman wins most of the time. Guarantee the average woman, if she had a sword, could fucking split, like, bisect this dude from his ball sack to his nose. Guarantee just whoosh, whoosh, way faster. Doesn't require a shit ton of strength. Swords are sharp. Comrade Courtney, thank you for the tier 1 gifted sub to Bill Bob Corncob. Holy shit, what a good name. Okay, I know I said I was going to hold back, but I couldn't not gift this person a sub after saying their name. True. Amazing name. Thank you for the tier 1 gifted sub. Women want to cut my balls off. True. Yeah, all women, especially feminists, they just want to cut off men's balls and, like, hang them from, like, fucking sticks and shit in their yard, you know? Alright, let's see what else. Yeah, generally in sword fighting training goes over strength. I'm not going to claim that strength, like physical strength, doesn't contribute a lot to your ability to fight with a sword, but generally, if we're talking historically and not in fiction, a sword fight, like a to the death sword fight, lasted about 2 seconds. This is true historically. Generally, it wasn't like a super long ting, 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 you know, fighting with a sword, ducking and all that. Usually it lasted a few seconds. Like someone would swing, maybe someone blocks something, but usually you're going in for stabs, and if they're wearing plate armor, you're going in for stabs in the weak spot, not the weak spots, but the breaks in the plate armor, places like the joints and whatnot. You can't stab through plate armor. steel plate armor. So generally, you're going for joints and whatnot, and you're going for stabbing motions. Now, if we're talking like a woman, like a fucking 5'3" woman using a mace and like swinging a big fucking 15-pound, hammer or a mace, then you might have a point. I wouldn't say no woman could do it, because holy shit, yes there is. But I would be able to somewhat understand it if you wanted to make the claim that most women probably couldn't effectively use a massive 15-pound mace. Pachitaro, thank you for the $10, says his bald ass probably can't even pick up a sword. It's really funny because I guarantee he probably can't. He's pretty, like, I know I'm covering him up a little bit, but seeing his arm, he's kind of scrawny. I'm not saying I'm not. I don't have the fucking meatiest arms in the world, but imagine being bald, hating women, and having no beard. True, Illuminati. True. Okay, let's continue.
And what I mean by that is in a situation where you are fighting men who are used to fighting with swords, you are going to get killed if you were a woman fighting with a sword 100% of the time, right? Now, you can, a woman.
Okay, no. I really don't want to spoil the Witcher show here, so I'm going to be about as spoiler-free as I can be here. The character he's talking about is Queen Calanthe. She is the queen of Sintra, and there are several scenes. Well, actually, yeah, there's a few scenes in the show, particularly in the first episode, where she rides into battle and she fights with her soldiers on the ground, like with her soldiers, and she has armor on, she's fighting, she kills several dudes, right? Now, it is established, I mean, I shouldn't even have to do this, like, explain story-wise, but it is literally established in the first 5 minutes we see her character, when Ciri says, didn't you fight your first battle when you were 12 years old? She literally fought her first battle when she was 12 years old. It was established story-wise at the fucking beginning that she has fought with a sword and is experienced from fucking childhood, alright? So, story-wise, we get that right out of the way. If we just want to talk logically and, like, historically, if you have a lot of experience, which this woman did, and if a woman is fighting with a sword, like, in battle, they probably do, it doesn't really matter, generally, the strength of the person they're going up against. Usually, because, like I said, the way sword fights happen is it's not like a lightsaber battle in Star Wars where they're fucking blocking and doing flips and shit. It's usually stabbing motions. You're usually, like, lunging inwards for stabbing motions. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other forms of fighting and whatnot. There's ones that you would use in actual fights to the death, and then there's artistic forms of sword fighting that are used more for entertainment and for showmanship. But generally, in a fight to the death, in battle, you're stabbing at people. Yeah, the Palpatine form. Hey, Game Master 19, thank you for the $5. Says, first time donating live. Also, have you seen a YouTuber called Appabend? He has some spicy takes like Rags. I've talked to Appabend. Appabend is sort of the apolitical, like, centrist, but still, like, reactionary leaning gamer bro. I've talked to him a bit. I'm friends with him on Discord. I could probably schedule a talk with him. I would need to know more of his, like, reactionary takes. I know he's, like, an anti-SJW, but still, but thanks for the $5 donation, though. So, going back to the topic, usually strength didn't play a super huge part in sword fights. There are weapons that like require a lot of strength. Maces, like the ball and chain, a morning star, things like that. Stuff that requires like a shit ton of strength and you're swinging like a massive weapon. But really, it doesn't require a lot of strength to use a sharp object. The reason for using a sword is that it's a sharp object. It's not blunt. It's not like you're using a baseball bat or a mace or a hammer. You're using a sword. It's sharp. It's meant to be used by someone who doesn't have a lot of strength. It's why somebody who is very skinny and mobile and fast is able to be so effective with the sword. That's the point of it. Anybody who knows anything about history will be able to debunk what this guy is talking about. Not only that, but even the more reactionary leaning people on YouTube disagree with what this guy is saying. Like, I'm not even kidding. Shadiversity is a reactionary. Like, he's like an anti-SJW type, but he does videos about, like, swords and stuff like that. Even he would disagree with this guy because he gets really fucking pissed off when people make the assumption that like the European style of sword is blunt and not sharp, because it's really sharp and it's really really fast, and so you don't need a shit ton of strength to use a sword. It's not like a blunt object, you know. It's sharp. You swing with it. If you have a decent amount of power behind that swing or that stab, you're going to kill that person. It comes down to skill at that point. If you're able to get through someone's block or through their guard, and if you're able to avoid their swings. Which, if you're a woman and you're generally smaller and probably faster, then yeah, you might be able to do that pretty effectively.
With a sword could kill somebody. A woman with a sword could kill somebody who doesn't know how to fight with a sword. But in a war situation where you are swinging this 5 to 10 pound sword again and again and again against
Wait, what? Holy shit! Wait, what did he just say?
Against much stronger to 10-pound sword again.
Did he say a 5 to 10 pound sword?
Know how to fight with a sword, but in a war situation where you are swinging this 5 to 10 pound sword again and again and again.
No, 5 to 10 pounds isn't nothing, New Mosaic. 5 to 10 pounds is fucking insane for a sword. Most long swords are 4 pounds. Most swords are 2 to 3 to 4 pounds. 5 to 10 is like significant. You have to understand how weight is distributed here. If we're talking a sword that's about this long, right? About as long as my wingspan, right? And that's 10 pounds, your wrist will fucking break if you're not extremely strong with that much power. Yeah, 5 to 10 pounds is way too much for a sword. Unless you're like fucking 6'8". Then they might be able to use a sword like that. If you guys have seen Game of Thrones, the sword the Mountain used, the big fucking sword the Mountain used, would probably be 5 to 10 pounds, maybe 12. Most swords that you would use in battle are closer to 2 to 4 pounds. Evelyn Nowicki, thank you for the $10, says, hi, martial artist here, also a woman. Technique, experience, and spirit generally trumps strength. I don't need to be built like a truck to tear up someone's joints. Exactly. But yeah, this guy literally doesn't know what he's talking about. To think that a sword, like, hold on, let's actually bring up an image from the show really quick. Queen Calanthe Witcher fighting. Let's show an image of the sword she was using. There is no way... Let's see, where's an image where she's, like, in battle? I mean, there's this image where she's, like, holding the sword up to Geralt. So, okay, this sword is not 5 to 10 pounds. It is not fucking 5 to 10 pounds. This sword might be 5 to 10 pounds, more likely on the side of 5 or 6. This sword is not. This is absolutely not 5 to 10 pounds. This guy has he has no idea what he's talking about. Not just from a historical perspective, but from just watching the show. Oh yeah, Pickle Rick shirt, guys. Look, I'm wearing a Pickle Rick shirt. Everyone make fun of me. Keck W's in chat. Lol W's in chat. Omega Lul's in chat. Look, I'm wearing a Pickle Rick shirt. Everyone make fun of me. Ha ha. Alright. Hey, Joseph S. Thank you for the $8. Says, also, nobles had time to practice with swords while infantry were peasants and spent their time doing labor and were generally not very good at fighting. Joseph S., that's not always true. Depending on what we're talking about. So in different times of war, historically, we saw different types of soldiers fighting. A knight was probably extremely skilled. Now, nobles did usually have the time to, would have the time and money to learn how to fight, but if we're talking, like, realistically, historically, most nobles were very fat and spent a lot of time eating and relaxing and just sort of enjoying their wealth. They usually didn't fight that often. Sometimes kings would ride out into battle, but generally they were not, like, fighting all the time. But there's obviously exceptions. However, when it comes to infantry, depending on the time and what's going on, you would have different types of people, different, like, skill levels fighting. So if we're like in a time of war where it looks like let's do it from the point of view of Sintra, right? Sintra was fucking outnumbered by Nilfgaard, okay? Nilfgaard was coming in with, like, 5 times their size. In that case, yeah, most of your soldiers would probably be peasants dressed up in armor, fighting for their lives to protect their kingdom. But usually, if it's just, like, a fairly even fight, then it'd be fairly skilled people out on the battlefield. But, yeah. Probably Sophie, thank you for the $10, says, don't know if you told us. Wait, if you told us, and I just didn't notice, but if. Is this dude criticizing only the show or the show, game, and books? Only the show. This guy has not seen the game. Guarantee this guy has not played a video game in his life, and I really doubt he's read the books that are, like, barely all translated from Polish. All right, let's continue.
Again, against much, much, much stronger men, they are going to kill you. So when you write a woman who fights with a sword, and this queen she's a man. They should have made the character a man. She's a man. She's gross, and she swaggers around, and she rips into the meat and tears it with her teeth, and curses people out. She's a man. So there was this feminist statement. And I just thought, please give me a break. And I don't know if that's in the books, but
it is.
I just like.
Okay, for starters, it is in the books, written by the fucking like 80-year-old Swedish dude. All right, or it's not Swedish, Polish dude. Okay, so there's that. Imagine talking. Okay, there's so much to dissect there. Where do we start? She's a man because she swaggers around, she swears, and she's like, takes a big fucking bite out of a drumstick at the dinner table. I mean, do I need to respond to that? I mean, okay, no strong women allowed, I guess. Nice. Talk about being offended and triggered. And like, look how angry he is, talking about how he hasn't seen the book or anything, and it's like this feminist statement. Imagine being so triggered by there being a strong female character. God, wait, wait. What happens if he finds out that women fart? Oh no. Oh no, guys. Do you think he's one of those people that doesn't know women fart? Oh god. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, stinky. All right, let's see the last couple seconds.
Give me a break. This is not the way any woman behaves.
Okay. All right, I can see why people weren't happy about that clip. Holy shit, talk about being so ill-informed and just ridiculously just making a fool out of yourself. I mean, I know there's like a bunch of like medieval history channels and stuff like that, like Scholagrim type people that have just ripped this guy a new one. Especially martial artists. Martial artists have been going after this guy as well because he literally has no fucking idea what he's talking about. Yet he's talking from a point of authority and making broad blanket statements. Hey, Top, thank you for the $2. Says this is the way. This is the way, as the Mandalorian would say. I actually saw. This is pretty funny. I was on Instagram, I think, and there was this girl that was like really hot doing like an Agayo face or Higio, I don't know how it's pronounced, like the Agayo, like kind of face, and a bunch of people, and like one person commented, "This is the way," and had like the Mandalorian as their profile picture, and then like 500 fucking responses that all said, "This is the way, this is the way, this is the way." That's amazing. But yeah, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Way to make a fucking fool of yourself, my dude. Making it very clear you have no idea what you're talking about. He lost me at the 5 to 10 pound sword thing. Imagine thinking a sword that's like this long is 5 to 10 pounds. I don't think that's even possible. Like, you would have to weight the end of the like, do you have any idea how like weight distribution works? The way that swords work is all the weight is in the you want as much weight. You want to distribute it so as much of the weight as possible is in the handle, because that's what you can hold up. But you want the sword to have less weight and to thin and become sharper and lighter as it extends outward. However, if the weight is on the other end, you're in a situation where your wrist is being fucking wrenched downward and you're trying to swing and you can't fucking do it. You don't want to do that, although usually most swords are used two-handed. But even still, most of the weight is supposed to be in the hilt and the pommel, not in the blade. Like, there's no 5 to 10 pound sword that looks like that. But hell yeah, thank you for the dono. By the way, Pachitaro with the $5 says, little bald desk boy complains about the femoids. True. Imagine being so fucking triggered by a show. Holy hell. Pathetic. Pathetic!